let's see how many we ended up with. There's 2. So 19. This is almost 10 days of food, and it took me about 2 hours. The 2 questions I get asked the most is, how much do I feed my dog? And then second, is it more expensive than regular dog food? Today, we are doing a little bit different type video. People that come over to the house and they see Beans, they always compliment his coat. And they say, how do you get his coat so shiny and soft? Well, it's kind of easy. If you feed homemade dog food, that's 80% of the progress right there. That, and I brush him every day. So we take a steer in every year. So I keep the liver, some beef tallow, had a little bit of beef tallow, and I'm just about out of avocado oil, so I've got another jar, so I'm just gonna dump that in there. We have liver, chicken from the ones that we just processed about 2 months ago, and then we have a beef tongue. So I'm gonna cut all this meat up and grind it. Usually I use a hand grinder, but I lost my coarse plate. So I bought this one off Amazon. I was concerned about the size of the feed chute, so we'll see how that works. I'm not certain yet. I've never used one to make dog food, so we'll see. So we have about 8 pounds of meat right here. I have a bunch of recipes here. There's probably 40 or 50 different recipes. And as long as I've been making dog food, I always wonder, like, if you go out and buy a kibble formula and you feed it the same thing the dog's entire life, how do you know that particular brand of dog food has all of the nutrients and vitamins in it? I've made this, you know, a lot, so I kind of know the ratio or the portions to go in each one. And basically, I try to make the protein about 50%, maybe 60% of the meals. And then I'll just make it with different things each time. Sometimes I don't have parsley or basil. I grow this stuff, so just chop it off. Sometimes we don't have eggs, or if we do have eggs, I might not want to use them. Apples, these are kind of getting soft. I just go through here and look at all the ingredients, and where I get this from is I just go to, some people use Chat GPT. I use Perplexity, and I just say, scan the internet, find me 5 recipes from dog nutritionist or vet approved recipes, and I just print them off then. So there's all kinds of different ways. I've probably never made it exactly the same way, and I kind of like that because it gives them a variety of nutrients. I mean, you and I don't eat the same meal every day, so why do our dogs? But anyhow, so we have about 8 pounds of cow tongue, liver, and chicken. And today I just went through, we have pumpkin puree, a little bit of chicken broth, some chia seeds, apple, parsley, basil, and eggs, avocado oil, beef tallow from a steer that we had butchered for us, some hemp hearts, some quinoa, however people say it, brown rice, and peas and carrots. And that's what we're going to do. We're going to go ahead and grind up this meat, and I'm going to get the rice and the quinoa cooking. And I think I'll boil the eggs this time. So I'm going to get all that started, and I'll be right back. I won't show you how to cook rice. Some of you may need to know how to boil egg. If you do, let me know. All right. Like I said, I was a little worried about this size here, so we're just going to have to cut them up in chunks to fit down in there. My dogs love cow tongues, but he's not getting any until I'm done making it. Right, Beans? I just used the last 2 apples. There you go, Beans. Don't ask for any more. All right, then we have some liver. Actually, that'll probably slide right in there. If you watched my chicken processing video, you'll know that I don't have a chicken scalder, so I just use fire. And that's an imperfect method to do that. So the birds that come out, you know, either too done where the skin's coming off, which none of it hurts for us to eat, but it just doesn't present well for human consumption. So I keep all of those birds, I set them in a different cooler, and I just use them to make the dog food out of. So you see there how white that is compared to that. I don't know how much a camera will pick up. But this one I scalded too long, or the water was too hot. I don't remember deboning these, but I must have. And sometimes I don't even, sometimes I just leave it like this, especially if I'm gonna feed it raw. But I bought that new meat grinder, so I wanted to try that out. This is still a little frozen, which is perfect to go through that grinder. Now, the way I do it is if I feed it raw, whether it's chicken or rabbits or whatever, I'll give them the bone. If I cook it, I always take the bone out. The reason I bought this grinder is this plate. I lost the one with the biggest holes on my manual one. So when I would go to grind the meat through there, it would just get all jammed up. Well, let's see how well she does. We'll try this together for the first time. I don't really see any problems. Well, that cow tongue is a little bit of a problem. Here's a softer part of the cow tongue. Listen to the difference. There's a big thick piece. I'm gonna chop those up into smaller pieces. The liver should go through there with no problem. Cow tongue. This really isn't that hot. I thought it might get hotter, especially when that tongue was going through it, but it seems to be fine. I'm just gonna let it cool off for a second, but it's not even warm. This sure beats doing that hand grinder, I can tell you that much. And this has 2 speeds on it. I had it on the lowest speed. So I'm gonna turn it up to the high speed and see what it does with the cow tongue. There's a big chicken bone in here. Doesn't seem to be a problem. Well, that is absolutely phenomenal. And cleanup looks about the same, so no downside other than the expense, which I think this was only 79, 89 bucks. It's not a real expensive model. I'm gonna go back and see how long all the cutting, the dicing, and the grinding took. It wasn't very long. I did go back through and I found it took me a hair under 23 minutes to cut all the meat and run it through the grinder. I got all that ground up. Never going back to hand grinding. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and put that on the skillet. Sometimes I cook this outside, but I don't feel like being outside today. Here's our quinoa, quawa. Here's our rice. I always add a little bit right there. That always helps. And then what I normally do, if I don't do hard-boiled eggs, I usually just crack open the eggs and put it in the rice, and that'll cook the eggs. Dogs can eat them raw, but I don't like storing them if they're not cooked. All right. With that much meat, this will make quite a bit of food. There's about 6 or 8 tablespoons of this oil. I'll be back once these 2 cook. Look at how sad he is. I haven't given him much of the food. Are you sad, Beans? Right, we'll go ahead and dump this. See if it'll fit in here. And we'll dump the rest of this chicken in, or meat. We'll add the beef tallow. We'll cut up the parsley and basil. The one thing I didn't add this time just because I didn't have any here, but I always like to add sardines. Are really good for the skin and the coat. But that quinoa, I believe, have some omega stuff in it too. Gonna go ahead and add some chia seeds. I don't know, that was probably a 1/4 cup maybe. And I'll put about the same amount of this hemp. Keep my little tub around for when I make these big batches. I'm going to put the peas and carrots and let them warm up and cook. We'll add 1 can of pumpkin puree. at our second batch. Gonna put in some of this chicken broth. I'm gonna use some for supper tonight. Use this to clean up the rest of this puree. Then I always add some turmeric. Add the eggs. I don't give them all the shells. Some people get a little nervous adding the shells. I've never had any problem, but do what you're comfortable with. Just have to cut up the apples. These turn brown when you put them in that warm meat, but last I checked, dogs really don't care what their food looks like. Beans is giving me the old sad eyes because his dish doesn't have any of this food in it. I'm gonna break down and give him some. What you looking at, huh? And you see that? Whoop, sorry, Beans. That's the other good thing. I'll clean all that up. What are you staring at, Bean? I used to use regular sandwich bags, but that's just because I wasn't smart enough to know that they actually make freezer bags. So these work out pretty good. Now, I know how much to put in here. I put these in about a cup and a half. A good little trick is to flatten it so it stores nice in the freezer. There we go. A lot of people ask me, how much should I feed my dog? I don't know. I don't know how much you should feed your dog. I can tell you how much I feed my dog, which I feed one of these in the morning and one in the afternoon. So 3 cups a day. That's all they need when you use this higher quality dog food. And I used to try to rush through this and not open these bags nicely. And it's just worth the extra time that it takes to be a little neater with it. Keep it off of the seal. And what makes these nice is that little lip right there. Sometimes I'll feed them to him frozen, and that little lip is nice. You can grab hold of the bag and open it easy. Sometimes too easy. But I feel a little bad because our dogs actually eat healthier than most Americans. And it's kind of sad, actually. So our dogs eat organic, farm fresh chickens, Wagyu steaks. And what we do is when we don't eat our beef right down to nothing, a lot of times we'll have some flank steak, some stew meat, maybe some roast that we didn't eat. And there's nothing wrong with it. But once you only have like flank steak and stew meat and you start getting ribeyes and T-bones, it's pretty hard to say, man, I know we got ribeyes, but I'm really craving a flank steak. So typically what I end up doing then, whenever we take in a steer, I usually make dog food out of what's remaining in the old one. If you've watched any one of my latest videos, you'll know I can't get my rabbits to breed. But, you know, we get the chicken, beef, lamb. I'm getting ready to process a lamb. We don't particularly like eating it, but I like having sheep here, so makes good dog food. And then doing it this way, you get all the organs. The tongue, you seen earlier. So this one, in this batch, we had the cow liver and cow tongue along with the chicken. So those organs are really, really nutritious. So the question I get most often whenever I'm out talking about making dog food is, if I make it, how much should I feed my dog? And the answer is, I don't know. I can tell you how much I feed mine, but not so much Casper, but Beans is very active. I would guess that he probably does 10 to 15 miles a day. I mean, we're pretty much outside all day and he's running all day. So, you know, if your dog's not real active, you probably don't need a cup and a half, or if they're smaller. But for that, I would do a little bit of own research or ask your vet or a dog nutritionist or whatever. Or you can find anything online today. And the one thing you have to be careful of is not overfeeding this. You know, with the store-bought food, you know, barring some food obsession, you know, they're not gonna overeat or they're not gonna severely overeat. And it's very easy to monitor. This is easy to monitor, but they'll eat as much of this as you put in front of them. And also, keep your bags clean. All right, let's see how many we ended up with. There's 2, 18, 19, and I put one in the refrigerator to feed tomorrow morning, and then I fed him one. So 19, I feed him 2 of these a day. So this is almost 10 days of food, and it took me about 2 hours. Maybe a little over 2 hours by the time I clean everything up. If you want your dog to eat healthy, it is some work, or you can buy it. DIY dog food is very expensive. Speaking of expense, the 2 questions I get asked the most: how much do I feed my dog? And then second, is it more expensive than regular dog food? That answer is really tough to say because of all the variables. If you go out and buy a bunch of steaks from Publix, yes, it's going to be more expensive. You know, I do all the processing of my own meat here, so you know, there is some expense with that. How you would calculate it for this, I have no idea. But I know rabbit, it's an easy and inexpensive way to get protein in the diet. In the summertime, dogs, probably 30-40% of their diet can come out of the garden. You're talking about pretty much any type of squash, peppers, green, red, yellow. No hot peppers or even sweet peppers, just the bell peppers. Oh, you can grow peas and carrots. So if you grow that, even just toss it in the freezer and then make it throughout the year. That and the way that we buy our meat, it's very inexpensive for us. But I don't know if you have the ability to do that. But I guess you could go to the butcher shop and just ask for heart, lungs, and any of the discarded stuff, the beef tallow. You can probably get that pretty cheap. I don't know. I've never purchased it from there. And I put, you know, usually some apples, pears. We have our own parsley, basil. We do buy the turmeric. And there's a couple other spices. I think I put some ginger in there sometimes. So there is cost in this for us, but most of it we grow here. So there's no way I could really put a price tag on how much a day of food costs. The other thing is time. It's a whole lot easier when you're at the grocery store or just throw a 50-pound bag of feed in there. Like I said, this took me it's going to be 2.5 hours by the time I get it all put away and get my mess cleaned up in there. But for me, it's worth it. If you could feel his coat, you'll definitely see a difference. And golden retrievers are prone to cancer. I don't know if diet is part of that, but I know the manufactured stuff, you know, it's probably just like us, where all of that food sometimes puts us at greater risk for cancer. So all in all, for me, it's cheaper to do it this way, but factoring in everything that I talked about with the meat, especially the meat, the protein is the biggest expense probably. Well, that brings us to the end of this video. I hope you enjoyed this little bit different content. And as always, thanks for watching. And a little bit of bonus footage here. You see that cleanup is a breeze.